God is the ultimate creator. Any human being, we're all created in his image. Any human being who is killed or persecuted or tortured or enslaved, God cries for every one of us. And it doesn't matter if we're white or we're black or Hispanic or Native American or Chinese or Hindu or even Muslims. All human beings are created in the image of God. So Islam, this is the first deception of Islam. Islam is not a religion of love. Islam is a religion of hatred. Muslims can be loving people because they're human beings created in the image of God, and our God is a God of love. It's like, I used to hate the Germans. Today I love the Germans, but I will fight Nazism to the death. I love the Russians, but I'll fight communism to the death. And I love the Muslims. They're good people. I love the Muslims. Don't anyone leave here today thinking that I hate the Muslims. I love the Muslims, but their system, Islam, is a satanic system bent on killing every human being on the face of the earth, including the Muslims. Second deception. Islam is a religion of peace. We've all heard this. And that Islam comes from the word salam. Salam is like shalom, means peace. But in English, there's a simple explanation. Pacification in English comes from the word peace. But pacification does not mean peace. Pacification, if you remember the good old days of the Vietnam War, this Viet Cong village or that Viet Cong village was pacified, usually meant immolated in napalm. Islam means the pacification of the infidel or the forced conversion or destruction of the infidel. Let's look at who the infidel is. The infidel is the Jew, the Christian, the Hindu, the Buddhist, the black, the jungle peoples. Anyone who's not a Muslim is an infidel. And by the way, many Muslims are infidels too because they're not good enough Muslims. So where do you draw the line? Islam preaches that there is the Dar es-Salam, the house of Islam, the house of peace, and there's the Dar el-Harb, the house of war, the house of the infidel. By definition, Islam teaches there cannot be peace on the face of the earth until the Dar es-Salam conquers the Dar el-Harb, meaning that there are no more people on the face of the earth other than Muslims. This is their bottom line. Now, this means if you got 2 billion Christians and Jews and 1 billion Hindus and 2 billion Buddhists, that's 5 billion human beings and 1 billion Muslims. It means 1 billion Muslims are going to have the victory over 5 billion non-Muslims, meaning the killing of 5/6 of the human race, so that 1 billion Muslims who are left will go ahead and kill each other, which is what we see from the history of the Islamic world. You know, there's a joke. What is the difference between neurotic people and psychotic people? Now, neurotic people dream about castles in the air. Now, that's all of us. We all dream. When do you stop dreaming? When you're dead in the grave. As long as we're alive, we dream. It's okay to be neurotic to some degree. Psychotic people don't dream. They live in castles in the air. And psychiatrists collect the rent. Now, Hitler was psychotic for 2 reasons. He lived in castles in the air. He believed he could conquer the earth, which no human being can do. You know, Alexander the Great tried it, the Romans tried it, Napoleon, Hitler, Stalin, nobody can conquer the earth and control it. Only God can. And secondly, Hitler lived in castles in the air because he believed he could kill all the Jews on the face of the earth. Now, we have God's kingdom terminology, and we have this kingdom terminology. In God's kingdom terminology, we know from Jeremiah 31 that there will be no more Jews on the face of the earth when the moon, the sun, and the stars stop shining. Meaning there will always be Jews on the face of the earth. That's God's word in Jeremiah 31. In this kingdom terminology, we know that the Jews are scattered to all 4 corners of the earth, which means if you can't conquer the whole earth, you can't kill all the Jews. So it is an impossibility to destroy all the Jews, and by the way, God said it too. So what would you say about the Muslims? That like Hitler, they want to conquer the earth, which we said is a psychosis. They want to kill all the Jews, which is a psychosis. And there are only like 15 million of us on the face of the earth. But there are 2 billion Christians, and they want to kill the Christians too. And there are 1 billion Hindus, and they want to kill the Hindus too. And there are 2 billion Buddhists, and they want to kill the Buddhists too. And they want to kill all the blacks in Africa. So if you ask me, anybody who believes that they can kill 5 billion human beings is psychotic. And, you know, I said this to Jerry Falwell. I don't know if you remember, Jerry Falwell, Franklin Graham, and Pat Robertson were quoted as saying that Islam is an evil religion. And I did a 1-hour TV show, Listen America, with Jerry Falwell in October. And after we were finished taping, I said to him off the air, I said, you know, I disagree with you. He said, why? What did I say? He said, you said that Islam was an evil religion. Well, Islam is not a religion at all. Islam is a sickness. Islam is a psychosis. Because any so-called religion or any cultic faith which says that you can wipe out 5/6 of the human race so that 1 billion Muslims will remain, that's a psychosis. If you look at the Islamic utopias, where the Hindu, the Buddhist, the Jew, and the Christian have been wiped out, let's take, for example, Afghanistan. After the Hindu, the Buddhist, the Jew, and the Christian were erased, and you're only left with Muslims, what do the Muslims do? They kill each other. You've got in Afghanistan the Pashtuns, they're like the Pakistanis. You have the Uzbeks and the Tajiks, they're like their brothers across the former Soviet border. And then you've got the Hazaras, who are Shiite Muslims related to their brothers in Iran. And what have they been doing for hundreds of years? Slaughtering each other. What do we see in Pakistan? That the Sunni and Shiite are slaughtering each other. What do we see in Saudi Arabia? What do we see in the Gulf area? Sunnis and Shiites, Muslims, slaughtering each other. What do we see in Algeria, where there are only Sunni Muslims? You have over 100,000 dead people in the last 7 years in a civil war between the Muslims and the more extreme Muslims. And you see this in Somalia. And by the way, Saddam Hussein killed 2 million Muslims. And nobody talks about the fact that Muslims slaughter Muslims like there's no tomorrow.